Welcome everyone to this year's Strategy in Action Roundtable. This roundtable is all about how we translate our strategy into our customer experience. We want to give you a glimpse into the machine room of Zalando. So we will talk about bigger and smaller recent and upcoming innovation to build the e-commerce experience of the future. We'll start with a presentation by Pascual, our SVP Product Design, and that will be followed by a panel with Reza Shirvani, Director Applied Sciences, and Virginie Duigou, Head of Beauty Buying at Zalando. But as we said, we'll start with Anne, and before you start, please quickly introduce yourself.
Thank you, Natalie. Great to be here. Thanks for joining our media roundtable. Very excited to be here and tell you more about the progress we have made around the execution of our strategy. My name is Anne. I look after product design and content, both very important topics that we've been investing in, and some of our growth areas that I'm going to be covering today. So let me start with a couple of introductory comments. To anchor this discussion, I think it's very important to take a step back and realize that if you think about it, the e-commerce experience hasn't really changed over the last 20, 30 years. Yes, there has been pioneering also on the Zalando side in regards to convenience or personalization. But if you look at the customer experience on your mobile phone, it hasn't really developed fundamentally. You open an app, you see a home screen, you go through a catalog, you add something to a cart, and that's then the main purchase journey. Everything around that was about making it quick and easy for the customer to find something, leave, and be happily wearing that item. Now, if we now look ahead, I think it's time to go beyond that. And why is that? Well, customers actually tell us that their needs are quickly developing. The world around us has changed dramatically, and so do also customer expectations. So if you think, for instance, about where customers get inspiration today, it happens a lot online. In fact, for Gen Z, 70% of the purchase decisions they make happen while looking for inspiration. So really this customer cohort, but not only that customer cohort, really ask us to think a lot more boldly about the experience we provide them. And this inspiration that I'm describing happens 70% online, so we are right positioned to be also one of these destinations. If you look around and you open one of these social media destinations, TikTok or Instagram, and you look for the hashtag outfit of the day, or for instance, get ready with me, you will be surprised and blown away by the amount of content that people post around that subject. What does that tell us? It tells us people are willing to, one, share this inspiration with others, but also to be part of these conversations. It's one source of inspiration that they seek and have developed habits around. Now, you may ask yourself, what does this have to do with Zalando? Do they want to become a social media platform? And the clear answer is no. But what we think is important is that we go a lot faster and accelerate our path to go beyond the current e-commerce experience and come up with new paradigms, new offerings, and new propositions for our customers to engage more frequently with us. And those are a couple of things that I'm excited about to talk to you all about today.
Thank you for the introduction, Anne. And this already brings us to the panel part. So I'm happy to reintroduce our two speakers next to Anne, Reza and Virginie. And as you all know, inspiration, entertainment, and quality are a big cornerstone of our strategy. So as Anne said, we want to dive deeper and connect stronger with our customers. So therefore, I'm happy to have the three of you here to look at some innovation that we've been building over the past couple of months. But before we go into that, maybe you two want to introduce yourselves quickly as well.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Reza. I'm a scientist at heart, and I am leading a passionate group of people, scientists, engineers, business and product managers in Zalando, focused on the problem of size and fit in the fashion industry. So the group really helps customers find what fits them, and most of the time, the first time. And this is some topic that we can develop more today.
And I'm Virginie Duigou. I'm the head of beauty buying at Zalando. And I have the very exciting task to grow the beauty proposition. And I have an amazing team, amazing buyers, amazing planners, and all these amazing people here. And really, we keep in mind always being an inclusive destination for beauty, because as Pascual said, that's how customers buy beauty today. I'm excited to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. So, and you just mentioned actually e-commerce hasn't really changed over the past 20 years. It all still looks somewhat the same. And maybe we can take a look at the content on Zalando. How does that actually translate to our content? Has this also not changed over the past 13 years?
It has a little bit. I can share a couple of examples. I have to also, put a bit in context what I said earlier, that nothing has changed. In fact, we did innovate around, for instance, the Zalando Assistant. So partnering with OpenAI around providing a much more conversational way to engage with Zalando. And obviously, size and fit has been on our innovation roadmap for quite some years. And I think we can be proud of the progress made around reduction of return rates, etc. But now back to the subject of content that I'm very passionate about. What you see actually here on the slide is how you're used to discover a product, the representation quite neutral, very objective, a pack shot on a simple white background, but if we look at it, not very engaging. So that's why we've been doubling down on what we call elevated content. We've introduced, for instance, fitting backgrounds to contextualize the product a bit more, make it a lot more natural and authentic, to look at it in context and how you wear it. For this, we use a lot more video content. And we also enhance this whole production pipeline with AI. Talking about video, what's quite impressive is the positive signals we get from customers, because those customers who look at a video tend to keep the product a lot more often than those customers who didn't have a chance to look at a video. So what does that tell us? That tells us that video is one way that we enable customers to make better decision, which is purchase decision, which is something that we want to do. What's equally exciting that through the use of AI, we can produce more content a lot more faster with greater creative variety, and we can also reduce cost down of all these different campaigns. And already end of last year, 70% of all our teasers in our app had some enhancement with AI included. So we become very good to use AI at scale. So you can see here a couple of examples of how we really contextualize the product and make it a lot more lively, and I think also more exciting to imagine the product in use and in your hands.
And I think from a beauty perspective, as you know, the beauty category is very linked to emotions, and elevated content is really essential, because when you're buying a lipstick, choosing a lipstick or a serum or a cream or a fragrance, a single image on the right background is not going to make it for you to know what is right for you. So what we are focusing on a lot is we invest a lot in richer visuals, and we're showing products on different skin tone, because my skin tone, I'm back from summer, so it's a bit darker than at Pascual. So you need to see it on different skin tone, different skin type. We all have different skin needs, and we feature a lot of creator-led content, so customers can see themselves with what we're presenting, and video wherever possible, because this is the best for storytelling. And actually, we see that this is working really well across categories, because on the product page where we have elevated content, what we see is that the engagement rate is increasing by 10%. So it's a clear sign for us that the customer doesn't only connect with what they see, but there's a connection with the products, and we're helping them doing this with all the elevated content.
Thank you. But that's not where we stopped, right, Anne?
Indeed. Yeah. One of our latest projects is actually also to work with what we call the digital twin. So if you look at this picture, can you guess which of these representation is actually the human and who is the actual twin? I'm sure even after looking at it for 30 seconds, you won't see a difference. And that's intended. So we're testing and piloting our ability to represent a human based on previously made images, which again then helps us to create this digital twin and lets us use the assets of a model that we've been taking before to basically expand and extend campaign material. That means, we don't need to book the original model again and again or travel around the world for different backgrounds or different scenery, but we can basically, reuse a realistic 3D representation. And I think that's hugely exciting because we can also use these assets outside and beyond Zalando, for instance, for ads, and really contextualize the storytelling to make it much more compelling and emotional.
That's indeed very exciting. And maybe for those of you who have wondered which one of the two images is the real person and which one is the AI, both are actually AI generated. So we got you there. But now we talked a lot about content and inspiration and how our journey there went. But if I'm now a customer and I got inspired, I have my product that I want to buy, how do I actually know if it's really for me? Reza, maybe you want to share what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's already amazing. You found something that you really like. And then the next step is to ensure that it actually fits you. Yeah? Because as of today, fashion is still happening in the physical world. And that's where size profile comes in. In the fashion industry, just a little bit of a background, there is no universal language for sizing. Yeah? Each country's markets in Europe use different sizing systems. Also brands intentionally or unintentionally use different conventions. And also based on the customer group they are seeking, they modify their conventions. So what happens is that size S, in other words, could feel like size M for a different brand. And this comes with a cost. Not only financial cost, of course we all know 1 out of 3 returns are for sizing issues, but also emotional cost and frustration for customers. Yeah? How frustrating it is to do all the work and find what you like and receive that and it doesn't fit you. Then starting questioning why it doesn't fit me. Is it me? Is it the article? Yeah, it comes with what we would call a cognitive load on top of the emotions. And we have done a lot of work in this domain. We have built multiple different features to help customers find the right size. Some examples we are familiar with is the size recommendations and what we call size flags, like saying this article runs small or large to help customers. The recent developments are body measurements. So you can take your body measurements and get a more confident size recommendations for the articles you're interested in. But through these past years' experiences, it became very clear that customers don't think of size and fit as a feature. They really think of it as an experience. And if we just zoom out, the fact is the experience of size and fit, even in offline shops, is not a good one. Okay, if I go to a shop in a mall, I need to find myself in a very small place, see what is offered, limited offering, limited sizes, put them on, try them on, ask somebody if it fits me or not. It's very not a smooth experience, the least to say. And then we think that there is an opportunity to actually change this experience, whether offline or online, for the whole industry. And this is the vision. Yeah, we have the opportunity. Zalando, I think, is really positioned to solve this on behalf of the customers and the industry. The first step towards this is to bring our features to this holistic experience. And Size Profile is doing that. It's our first step going towards this direction. So in the updated Size Profile, we give control to customers about their sizing profile. And that is very important because then a customer can say, okay, I would like to get my measurements taken. And this is not with the tape, huh? So we have the technology that you can go and take 2 pictures and get your measurements calculated. We see some slides here. This is the digital tailor. Yeah? As in the past, we used to go to tailors and get our measurements done so that the clothes that were made for us would fit us. So we have the digital tailor here in the size profile. Also, we get the feedback from your purchases. Okay, you purchased with us. Does it fit? Did it fit after some time? You can change that. You have full control of changing your feedback. Also, it's not limited to Zalando. You have a wardrobe and you buy that stuff outside of the platform. Yeah, and you can also add that. Say, okay, this brand, I really love it. It fits me. I love the fit. And you can add those you have in your wardrobe that you really like the fit and how they look on you to the size profile. And from there, it really enables us to create even bolder innovations in supporting customers to have confidence in their shopping journey. And you can already look forward with 3D advances, with generative AI coming in, and we can leverage all that for the benefit of the customer in their purchase journey. So in a sense, this is the building block of envisioning a different fit experience for fashion industry. And of course, this year we will make the size profile more visible to customers so that they can engage more with it, and we will do incremental improvements. But I think what is important here is that these are the building blocks of changing the experience of fit for the industry.
Thank you. And I feel like if I use that as a customer who just got inspired and wants to find out her size, that will definitely give me confidence in my purchase decision. That's great. Talking about confidence, yes. Virginie, what does that mean for your category?
Yeah, so in beauty, confidence is key. And I have to say, beauty helps you also with a feel-good moment. So I think when you're choosing a cream or you have a different skin concern and you're a bit lost and you don't know in terms of what am I going to get as a lip gloss, which fragrance should I wear when I'm coming out and I want to complete my head-to-toe look, because that's why customers come and shop in the platform. So you want to feel like you're making the right choice, and this is something that really works for you and really works for your need. But I think confidence is not only coming from the product. It comes also on the experience, how you discover it, how it's shown, whether it's relevant for you, whether it's relevant for your lifestyle. And I think what we are using more and more are real-life visuals and richer content and creator-led, because those formats help everybody to see themselves in the experience. Same comes for me when I shop. And our new exciting experience we've launched recently is the Insider's Edit. It's a shoppable format where beauty experts share their own routine or favorite products. So the first one we did is with Sophie Carbonari, as you can see. She's a very well-known facialist from Paris. And she's curated a very simple skincare routine, sharing her favorite product. So it really feels like it's a friend guiding you and telling you, hey, you wake up, this is what I should do, this is what I do for those needs, etc. It's much more personal than if you had an anonymous list of products telling you what to shop and what to buy. And I think this personal connection that we are allowed and that we're bringing to the table is what will help customers building their confidence.
That's a really good point. And I personally already draw some inspiration on my skincare routine from that, because I spend way too much time looking at different creams. So this is actually a very, very helpful experience. But there is more, right? What else is there to help customers make confident buying decisions in beauty?
So yes, there's more. There's always more with beauty. I'm excited about, we're piloting a new feature, virtual try-on. Now, okay, virtual try-on is not new in the beauty world, but I think it's more around the way we are creating the experience. So this is integrated into a broader lifestyle journey. So it feels natural to the customer. It's not like on the PDP page and you have to scroll down to find it. It's actually embedded directly into the inspiration flow. So it comes to you as very natural to help you to find the color. And we are using augmented reality to be able to help people to see the colors on their skin. We're starting with a very curated selection of products to see how customers are responded to the experience. And this is, for me, an example that shows we are continuously building the shopping experience that's personal and boosts confidence to the customer. And I think this is one of the first things, and there will be much more to come to help drive that confidence.
Very exciting. So I'm looking forward to trying that. But I also saw another try-on experience. And Anne, I'm sure you want to tell us more about that.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that we are not only adding much more video content to our product representations, but also 3D imagery. Now, 3D has been around a couple of years, but no one has really cracked to use it at scale. And what you see here is one example of how we use a 3D viewer to express, explain, demonstrate a running shoe. So users are able to rotate the shoe, zoom in, look at the details, at the fabric, the materials, and to get a good sense of what the product is made of, which is particularly important. Also performance-based gear, where the material matter a lot in terms of understanding the price and the value you get, and if it really fits your needs. And by the end of this year, we want to already have 10,000 SKUs of footwear having 3D assets attached to it. And then what you see on the right-hand side is the virtual try-on, which allows you very simply to you look at the shoe as if it would fit your foot, and you can sit at the couch at home and already get a sense of would I like this shoe if I would wear it? So again, all these ideas, all these concepts and technologies are meant to increase confidence of the customer in terms of the buying decisions, but also to feel good in the products they buy.
Sounds really exciting. Reza, does that connect to your work as well?
Yes. I mean, I love AR. It's blending the reality, what is today, with the imagination, what could be, and you can see that. And that's amazing, I think. And in the example of shoes, then customers can see how the color, how the design of the shoe is working for them, and they be more confident of if this is the right purchase for them. It also complements all our work in size and fit, because both of them together are also helping to reduce returns and find the right fit, as I said in the first place. Now they are not exactly on the same level of complexity. We can discuss more on this if you like.
Yeah, please tell us more, because I was wondering then, and I think all of our viewers are wondering, will the two teams now work together? Will there be an integrated size advice into that try-on? What's the future of this?
Yeah, this is the place I think we can take a beat and take a moment to develop, because this is really core to the discussion we have. In the AR world, we are looking at their presentation, and this is really good for also inspiration, entertainment, and making it confident for the customer that this is the right pair of shoes. Now, to see if that can actually fit the customer in a given size, that problem is 10 times more difficult. And you wonder why 10 times? I can give you some hints. For example, for the shoes example, the material changes the fit behavior. So the shoe that comes in leather has a much different fit characteristics than, let's say, running shoes. They don't use leather. At the same time, also, not all shoes are made the same. So high heels come with different requirements than sandals, from the fit perspective. Also, if you look at the foot itself, two person with the same length of the foot, but having different width of the foot, they would need different sizes. Also, the arc of the foot plays a role. And not to forget, also the weight of the person plays a role, because if you look, this is a physical experience, and the weight can change the shape and fit of the shoe when we are walking to a better or to the worst conditions, and there the sizes would change. So these are some elements to describe how finding the right fit is 10 times harder than just looking at the appearance. But we are working on it. This is really something that, with our knowledge of fashion, I think we can solve for it. This is one of those examples that AI alone cannot do it. And I am the AI scientist, I've been doing this for a while, so it's not easy for me to say that, but this is one of those problems. So Zalando has the advantage of having the fitting lab. So what is a fitting lab? We have 10 colleagues in a fitting lab in Berlin who are trying shoes every day. Hundreds and hundreds of shoes every day, and they give feedback. And they give feedback to the system, how the shoe behaves, they walk with the shoe. They actually provide fashion expert feedback on the shoe's fit to the system. So if you look at it, We have small-scale fashion expert data from really actually trying on the shoes. Then you have the data from 50 million customers and purchases at the scale of 27 markets. And on top of that, you can put all the AI that we have to make sense of this universe to find the right size and the right fit for the customer. And this is where we can solve the problem end-to-end, leveraging these different technologies and the human expertise in it.
Thank you for explaining that, because I think from the outside it might seem very simple, like why don't you just connect size and fit to this experience and make it a holistic one, but actually the 10 times more difficult is a very good point to keep in mind, why it's maybe not that simple to just connect these two now, but maybe in the future, we'll see. But as you also said, in the end it all comes down to giving people confidence, whether it's in choosing the right fit or whether it's in choosing the right product for them from, does it fit to my style? But we also know, talking about confidence, actually, that a lot of our customers draw confidence from being part of a community, and that's also something very, very important. So maybe if we look at the future of Zalando, will there be this community as well? And if so, how are we going to build it?
Yeah, I mean, fashion is rarely experienced on your own. It's always about putting yourself in context with others, connecting with others, sending signals, either standing out or blending in. So for me, fashion is by definition something quite social, and it's about connection. And so this idea around what does community on Zalando look like is something that feels very natural and intrinsic to explore a bit more. And that's why we launched earlier this year boards, Zalando boards, which starts first of all by offering a curated set of products and content that customers can explore and consume, again with a much richer experience because it contextualizes products and content in the broader sense, meaning how do these products actually relate to art, music, entertainment, some of their habits and lifestyles and passions. So going beyond the pure objective facts of the product to really contextualize it again in the context of also how others look at these products, being part of this conversation. You can follow those boards, and we already see some very positive signals, not that only customers look at these boards, but they follow them, they go back to them as they get updated regularly. Now, looking ahead, we believe that boards can be created by creators, again, a very authentic source of insight and credibility. Equally, our brand partners can be featured in boards or create them on their own. We just recently had Tommy Hilfiger create his board around Formula One related to the premiere of the movie. Check it out. And we can see how very soon users might create their boards and potentially also share with others. And with that comes obviously this shareability and the social connection to make your board discoverable and to really start organizing your personal fashion world and not be alone with it, but attract others to participate in it. And I think that's hugely exciting and a real paradigm shift for us.
Very exciting. So in the future, Virginie, will we see your personal skincare routine on a board as well?
Might be tricky. No, joking. It's a very simple one. No, boards is such an exciting tool because I think it lets customers explore and express full aesthetic, as you said rightly, from the outfit to the skincare, to the hair care even, fragrance, etc., to complete your look. So I think it brings everything together in one curated space. And it's super cute, and I think it's very nice and easy and quite straightforward to use. And it actually reflects how customers shop today. I think they shop in moods, in vibes, in, you go to a wedding, you will do a board for the wedding. Or you have an interview for a job, you'll do your board for that as well. So a customer might build a clean girl aesthetic. These days, we don't know if it's summer or autumn. So that could be a board with soft knits and sneakers, let's say. Then we will recommend a very dewy skin tint or a very light lip gloss to fit to that. And that's your mood for that. But it could also be a festival look, like with shimmer eyeshadow or setting sprays, which are quite on trends when you go to a festival because you need everything to fit. So it goes for every occasion, and I think it works well because it reflects really how customers behave. It's almost an answer. And we know that 76% of Zalando customers already shop across categories, whether it's fashion, sports, beauty, wellness. I think this answer as well to this to make it much easier. And that tells us something really important is that customers don't shop in silo, just one category. They shop everything together. And I think that's what we need to focus on and always make sure that we answer to that trend as well.
Sounds good. Reza, do you also have anything for boards?
I find the power of the boards really in the fact that they reflected the shifts we are seeing across the board. What I mean is that it really shows that the customers want experiences, hassle-free experiences, that are relevant to them and that are personalized to them. And whether it is the curating the style they love or finding the right fit for them. And I think it all boils down to feeling empowered and feeling confident that this is the right choice and the right product and the right experience for me as a customer.
I think that's a really, really nice note to slowly come towards the end of this panel session, but we're not there yet. But we hope that it gave you all a glimpse of what's happening at Zalando now and in the future, and how we're trying to connect the dots between all of our different teams and departments to give the best experience to our customers. But maybe, Anne, some final summary to round up what we've discussed.
Well, not so easy, but first of all, I hope you see how everything develops much faster. Trends are developing much faster, customer behaviors are developing much faster, and so do we in terms of the innovation we put in front of them and learn and test and see what works and how we can adapt more quickly. But if I would have to sum up, and I started this roundtable with this observation that online e-commerce hasn't changed over the last 30 years. I really think that we're at a crossroad and that we move beyond this pure purchase-driven, transactional, linear journey into much deeper connections, much more engagement loops, and overall a much more richer, more compelling, and more emotional experience. So I would sum it up that together we're creating emotional e-commerce in the next coming months and years. And I couldn't be more excited about it.
Thank you. How does the emotional commerce translate to your two areas? Let's finish with that.
Well, I think beauty is a great example of emotional e-commerce, I would say. When you choose any products within the category, it's quite intimate because it's not like clothes. It's not fabric. It's actually ingredient, and how it reflects on yourself and how you want to feel and how you want to express yourself. So by adding features like virtual try-on or elevated content or what we are doing here, we are helping customers feel confident into the choices, but bringing more joy, more fun. It's fun, right? It's just to feel good, but make it easier as well and convenient. So I think that's for the beauty category.
For me, it's really how everything comes together, as in this experience for our customers. From the view of, we discussed about it reminded me during this conversation that an image is worth 1,000 words, and you extend that to video, then you extend that to 3D, then you extend that to AR, where you put your imagination in the reality of the world. And from this point of view, we are really doing something to capture the confidence of the customers and reduce as I said in the discussion, reduce the emotional and the cognitive load for customers. Because at the end, our vision is customers wouldn't need to think too much about these topics of which size to order, which fit, and that would just work for them in a personalized way.
Thank you. And as said, we're slowly coming to the Q&A session. So thank you to the three of you. So moving over to Q&A, for those of you who have not handed in any questions, you can still do so on the right side of the virtual room you're in, and we'll start with the Q&A here. Please keep in mind that we're not discussing any financial numbers outside of our quarterly financials, which will happen in the beginning of August. So please keep your financial questions for this time. And we're going to dive into Q&A. So let's see. The first question is actually for you, Anne. So you mentioned AI content, and the question is, will there be no models and photographers in the future?
Of course, we will continue to work with human models and photographers, especially as we train algorithms, as we try out early versions of content that we want to scale using AI. So we continue to develop workflows to use AI to enhance the processes we have in place. And of course, models will continue to play a role.
Thank you. As a next question, I think this one might be for you, Reza. Of all the different experiences we've seen, what do you think has the most impact? Also happy for all of you to comment because it's an open question.
It's difficult to pick one, and I wouldn't pick one, in fact. I think the impact is in the shift we are seeing in how we are solving the fashion problem on behalf of our customers, and how we are acting as unsaid and a very fast and iterative way. That would be how I would formulate my answer.
To me, the biggest change or the most impactful change is indeed how we seamlessly connect this inspiration shopping. Because if you think about it, again, through the development, the growth, the scale of the web, the internet, some of these offerings have started to be very siloed. And so you would go to different apps to do different things, but this would be cognitive load, a break in your experience, you would have to restart. Lots of these touch points don't know you, they don't make the connection. But the fact that we are able to make those connections, I think will make sure that it's a much more intuitive, a much more inspiring, and also, a more human experience because of that. Because you don't stop at different steps and then make another jump, but you want to have actually something that keeps you going, keeps you into the flow, and also gets to know you over time a lot better. So for me, seems like obvious, but still like technically and from a perspective, from a model, it's a big shift, I think, overall.
Thank you. And other than that, thank you for joining us today. It was our pleasure. Thank you to all of you being here.
Thank you.
And then we'll see you for the next edition. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.